بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير. صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah, we have been going through the Tafseer of these Surah. Surah Al-Rahman, Surah Al-Waqi'ah, and now we are on Surah Al-Hadid. This is just on a side note. Surah Al-Hadid is the 57th Surah in the Holy Qur'an. So it's like the middle Surah of the Holy Qur'an. In the Qur'an there are 114 Surah, and the Surah Al-Hadid is 57, so it's exactly in the middle. And Al-Hadid means iron, and the iron is also in the middle of the earth. So the ulama, some people they have written this, that look how amazing the Qur'an is, that Allah has kept the surah named iron in the middle of the Qur'an. The discovery that the iron is in the middle of the earth came along recently. Allah give us understanding, Allah give us the ability to contemplate on the Qur'an, to understand the Qur'an, and the main thing is to follow the teaching of the Qur'an. So one of the verses that we did was سابقوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم. Allah is saying that advance towards the forgiveness of your Lord. وَجَنَّةً, and that Jannah, the width of which is like the heavens and the earth. That's how big it is. Then Allah says this has been prepared for those who bring Iman. This is number one, they bring Iman. Now, do you only need to bring Iman, or is there more to it? Is Iman the only condition, or is there more to it? So here Allah has mentioned one thing, but in other places of the Holy Qur'an Allah has mentioned other things. Like Allah mentions in Surah Al-Imran, Allah says أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah has prepared it for those who have taqwa. الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. Allah mentions about 5 qualities of those who have taqwa. They spend in the way of Allah, whether they have good times, they are in struggle, they forgive people, they swallow their anger, and Allah says Allah loves those who do good. So Allah is mentioning 5 things there. So here Allah has mentioned the main condition. The main condition is Iman. If you have everything else but you don't have Iman, then what's the point? And if you don't have anything but you have Iman, that is the key to Jannah. So that is why Allah is mentioning the main thing here. Allah mentions ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Iman is a very big blessing of Allah. Allah gives it to whomever He wishes. That is why each one of us here should really be very, very grateful to Allah for giving us this Iman. Because Allah doesn't give it to anybody and everybody. Allah gives it to chosen people. So each one of us is chosen by Allah for this blessing of Iman. Every day we should do shukr to Allah. 2 rakat salatu shukr. Alhamdulillahi alladhi hadana lihada. All praise be to Allah who has guided me towards this Iman, who has guided me towards this Qur'an, who has guided me towards this Salah. Otherwise, where would I be today? Now, coming to the point where we are today, Allah said, مَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ. Now, many people will bring Iman, but when they have problems, when they go through struggles, sufferings, then there's either 2 conditions. Either that struggle will put them far away from Iman, far away from Deen, or will either bring them close to Deen. 2 conditions. Problems everybody will have. It's part of life. This world is like a roller coaster. You will have your ups and downs. But Allah said, whatever problem that you will go through, ma asaba min musiba, whatever musiba you will go through, illa fi kitab. It's already been written. Min qabli an nabra'aha, before you were created, it was already written. So Allah knows exactly why it is happening, for what reason it is happening, whatever is happening. Allah knows exactly. In another place, the Prophet ﷺ, he mentions, كَتَبَ اللَّهُ مَقَادِيرَ الْخَلَائِقِ. Allah has written the decree of the creation 50,000 years before He created the heavens and the earth. So it was already written many years before that this was going to happen. Why it is happening? Only Allah knows. So this shouldn't put you off from Iman. This shouldn't put you off. That same Allah you are believing in has already written that this is going to happen to you and is happening to you. So when a person comes into Islam, when he becomes a Muslim, or he starts practicing, or something happens, then problems come, which he never expected, but it happens. So then either the person, if he doesn't get the support he needs, then he gets moved away. So gets thrown up. He becomes far again. He said, I couldn't hack it was too much for me. Whatever problem a person will go through, Allah will only test him according to what he can bear. What he can't bear, meaning he can bear, but he's just overly reacting over the problem. That is why he's saying, I can't bear. But in reality, Allah has put you in this problem, meaning you can't bear. And then what happens in the beginning when a problem comes on a person, then he starts overreacting. I can't do it. But then a few months later, a few years later, when that problem finishes, then the person himself, he was not as bad. It could have been worse. So that is the reality. So there are three types of sabr which a person needs to do. The sabr, we say sabr karo. Many times, many people, they come problems. I have this problem, I have that problem. And when the Imam or the Shaykh or the Maulana or somebody says to the person, do sabr, then we start looking down on the guy that for you it's easy to say, tell me to do sabr. For you it's easy. If you were in my shoes today, then see how you would be doing sabr. No. Sabr, it is very difficult. And sometimes it is the only way. Sometimes. That is why Allah is with those. Allah didn't say He is with those who perform salah. Allah didn't say He is with those who fast. Allah didn't say He is with those who do this and that. But Allah did say, Inna Allah ma sabirin. Allah is with those who do sabr. Because it's difficult. It's hard. Sometimes we don't know what to do. So there are three types of sabr you need to do. One is sabr ala ta'ah. When you're trying to obey Allah, you need to do sabr. Now in Ramadan it was easy for us to obey Allah because it was like atmosphere and the enemy was also locked up, so it was easy. But now to all do the same thing, to maintain it, now to go for salah, now to wake up, now it's difficult. But you're still doing it because it's a command of Allah. That is sabr ala ta'ah. That you are doing sabr trying to obey Allah, upon the obedience of Allah. And that is difficult, especially when winter comes and a person needs to wake up for salah, fajr salah in the morning. It's very difficult. And anything will tell him, we'll read it later, I'll read it at home. Any excuse. But now he said, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I do it. And he puts himself forward, then that is sabr. Then you get another type of sabr, sabr anil ma'asiyah. Something which Allah has told us not to do, and we try to stay away from it, but we go through some problem due to it. For example, a person, he had his house on mortgage or something, and then he found out that it's haram, so he cancelled it. Now he's going through struggling. Or he was on a certain type of business which was haram, then he left that business totally. Now he's going through a problem because of that, because now he's not making as much money, or he's struggling to find something else. So now or anything, it could be anything. A person is trying to stay away from lying, backbiting. He's struggling, but that is also sabr. Allah will also give a reward. So can you just imagine, a person does what Allah has told him to do, and the feeling that he's going through in order to do that thing. Or a person stays away from the things which Allah has told him to stay away from, and the feelings he is going through because of doing that thing, Allah is also rewarding him of sabr on those feelings. So that action he's going to get reward anyway. But imagine the feelings and the attitude. Sometimes people, they show that attitude as well. Even that, but you're still doing the right thing, Allah will give you reward for it. Allah give us understanding. That is why, sometimes Allah, where Allah says, قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم. Allah says, to say something good when you're giving sadaqah. If you don't have anything to give, say something good, say some good words. At least if you can't fill the person's pockets, fill the person's heart with happiness. Say something good. Then Allah said, that is better than you insult the person, you humiliate the person, and you harm the person in any way. That is worse. And then Allah said, Wallahu ghafurun halim. Allah is ghani, ghafoor, He's forgiving. Halim, He's tolerant. Now why does Allah mention He's forgiving, He's tolerant here? What have we done wrong? What have we done wrong? Why is Allah mentioning Ghafoor and Halim here? So the ulama, they mentioned that when a person is giving, or he's coming across with the person who is asking in the name of Allah in this way, then he himself doesn't want to do it. From inside he doesn't want to do it. But because it's the command of Allah, outwardly he's trying his best to come across in that way. Allah is forgiving of that feeling which you don't want to do. Allah will forgive that feeling and Allah will tolerate it. That feeling that you are going through because of that thing. Oh, he's here again. Aur aage mangne wale. They're here again. Now they're asking again in the name of Allah. Now they're always asking, how much more am I going to... All these are going through your mind. All these are going through behind the mark. But Allah is Ghafoor. Don't worry. Still give. Still give. Allah will forgive all that. Then the main sabr, which we all know, sabr ala al-musibah. The sabr that we do when we have problems. So that is the sabr that we know of. Sabr karo, sabr karo. A person, he came to Zubair ibn Adi, says, he's a tabi'i, he said, we came to Anas radiallahu anhu. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, who is somebody who stayed in the company of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years. Anas ibn Malik, from the age of 10 till 20, stayed in the company of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said, we came to complain to him due to the problems that we were going through because of Hajjaj. Hajjaj bin Yusuf was somebody who had killed thousands. Biggest oppressor, zalim. He had shed so much blood. And we were fed up that how many more people is this guy going to kill? When is it going to come to an end? So we see the suffering in this world today. Muslims are getting suffering in Palestine, Sham and other places. Sometimes we just think, how long is it going to happen? So Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu said, Isbiru, do sabr. Like I mentioned, when somebody tells us do sabr, then we say, this guy doesn't appreciate my problem. That's why he's telling me to do sabr. Who could understand this situation more than Anas ibn Malik? But he said, do sabr. Why? فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَأْتِي عَلَيْكُمْ زَمَانٌ. Because no time will ever come to you إِلَّا الَّذِي كَانَ بَعْدَهُ, except the time that will be after it will be worse. So as worse as it is today, as more problematic as it is today, as difficult as it is today, the good thing is better than tomorrow. Worse is yet to come. حَتَّى تَلْقَوْنَ رَبَّكُمْ, until you meet your Allah. Anas ibn Malik says, this is not something which I am making up. سَمِعْتُهُ مِن نَبِيِّكُمْ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. I heard this from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah said that whatever problem you are going through, إِلَّا فِي كِتَاب, it's already been written. مِن قَبْلِ أَن نَبْرَأَهَا, before they were created. إِنَّ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرٌ. That is very easy on Allah. Very easy. What is easy on Allah? What is easy on Allah? To make that suffering easy for you. To make you, if Allah has brought you onto this problem, Allah will take you through it as well. Allah will take you through it. Problems are from Allah, and the solution to the problems are also from Allah. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu used to mention something really amazing. He used to say that behind every problem, every suffering, there are 3 blessings. Behind every problem, there are 3 blessings. Number 1, it could have been worse. Number 1, it could have been worse. There are people in worse problems than me in the world. So look at them, and then you will say, oh, alhamdulillah, I'm not that bad. Alhamdulillah, I've still got this, I've still got that. Alhamdulillah. So that will make you appreciate that what you are going through is not much compared to what others are going through. That's number 1. So it could have been worse. Number 2, it's not in your deen. It's not in your deen. So your salah is still in place. Your Qur'an is still in place. Your connection with Allah is still in place. It has just affected your health, or it's just affected your wealth, or it's just affected your family, or it's just affected some worldly thing. It hasn't affected your iman in any way. That is why the dua of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very specific. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not say, Allahumma la tusibna, oh Allah, don't give us, put us in musibah, don't put us in problems, don't put us in... The Prophet of Allah didn't make this dua, because problems are part of life. It's going to happen. It's going to come and go. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very specific. The dua he made, Allahumma la taj'al musibatana fi dinina, oh Allah, do not make musibah in our deen. If my dunya is okay, if I don't get dunya today, maybe tomorrow, or then akhirah is there anyway. But if I lose my deen, I will lose everything. If I lose my salah, I will lose everything. If I lose my connection with Allah, I will lose everything. So I don't want that to be affected in any way. That is why the ulama, they mentioned that if a person is going through problems, and in that problem he obeys Allah, and he doesn't neglect any of the commandments of Allah, then that problem is a mercy for that person. It's a mercy for him. And if a person on the other hand is going through a problem, and in that problem he has become more, disobedient, he is neglecting the commands of Allah, then that is a sign that it may be a punishment on that person. Allah save us. So the problem should never be a means of taking us away from Allah. It should always be a means of making us close to Allah. These are like, alarm bells, wake-up calls to get close to Allah. And it happens, mashallah. Many people, it does make them close to Allah. But the sad thing is that when they are in problem, many people, then they get close to Allah. As soon as the problem finishes, then they go back to their old ways. That problem came to get you on this level. Now don't go back to your old ways. The whole reason this problem came to you is that you start doing the things which you were meant to do. And you did start doing it. But the problem went and you went back to your old ways. That should never be the case. And then Abdullah ibn Abbas said, the third blessing behind that problem is that this problem is in this world. It's not in the akhirah. So everything in the world, in this world will expire. It's going to come to an end. Everything has an expiry date, best before date. Every person is going to expire. Everything in this world expires. And so it's very temporary. Things in this world are very temporary. Life is temporary, things are temporary. So the problems in this world are also very temporary. But akhirah, if the problem was in the akhirah, then that would have been permanent. But the problem is in this world, so inshallah, the reward in the akhirah will be permanent, inshallah. Inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra. Allah said, indeed with every difficulty there is ease. Indeed, Allah repeated it twice. Indeed with every difficulty there is ease. That is why a poet says it so beautifully, إِذَا اشْتَدَّتْ بِكَ الْبَلْوَى. When you get severe problems you get yourself into, and you can't see any way out, and you seem to be all blocked, all closed doors on all sides, فَفَكِّرْ فِي أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ. then just remind yourself of Surah Al-Nashrah. Remind yourself of it. Why? فَعُسْرٌ بَيْنَ يُسْرَيْنِ. One difficulty with two ease. One difficulty with two ease. How is one difficulty with two ease? Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, Inna ma'al usr. Indeed with the problem there is a easiness. Indeed with the problem there is a easiness. So the problem refers to that same problem. Get me the book. I'm referring to a specific book. But a easiness, he said there are two different easiness. So the problem is the same, but Allah will give you double easiness with it. So it's just amazing, how Allah said, I am mentioning this to you لِكَيْ لَا تَأْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ, so you don't regret what you have missed. Something that wasn't meant to be for you, you've missed it, it never worked out for you, don't regret over it. وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ, and don't be over proud and arrogant over what you have been, what has come your way. Don't be, always be shukr. If something that never worked out for you, the business you really wanted it to happen, it never worked out for you, something you really wanted to do and it never worked out for you, you wanted to go somewhere and it never worked out for you, it just never worked out for you, don't regret. Maybe Allah has something better for me. Alhamdulillah. It wasn't meant to be. Look forward. Alhamdulillah. Maybe Allah has meant. Allahumma ajinni fi musibati. That is why the dua of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so powerful dua. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma ajinni fi musibati. O Allah, reward me in this problem of mine. Reward me. Wakhlufni khayran minha. And O Allah, replace it with something better. So this dua the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave to Salama. Salama radiallahu anha is a very young woman. They have a little infant, little child, little children. 2, 3 little children they have. And the husband has passed away. And they had a lot of love between them. Now all of a sudden the husband became ill and he passed away and everything. And they were crying and they were very sad that what has happened, My whole life is finished now. How am I going to live for the rest of my life? So the Prophet ﷺ came and he said, don't cry, just make dua upon those who have passed away and read this dua. So he said, I started reading the dua and I was always thinking that this was such a good husband. Abu Salama was such a good person, such a good husband Allah gave me. Who could be better? Who could be better than this? وَخْلُفْنِي خَيْرًا مِنْهَا. One of the parts of the dua is, replace it with something much better. So I could think, could there be anything better than Abu Salma? Such a good husband I've lost. What could be better? And they said, not very long later, the Prophet ﷺ made nikah with me, who was the best in the world. So Allah gave me the best of all, anybody can have, any other husband anybody can have. So subhanallah, this dua is so powerful, so powerful. Any problem we go through, sabr, just one point inshallah, then we finish. Sabr, I've mentioned it many times, I remember. Sabr is that which somebody will do on the 3rd day or 4th day or many days later. You need to do it the first instant. That is sabr, that is real sabr. When the problem happens, then the person will say all sorts of things and he will do all sorts of things, and then after 2 or 3 days he realizes that, he comes to his senses, then he realizes he's not going to bring anything back. Things are not going to work, I just have to live with it now. He said, chalo abhi sabr kar lete. Now I'll just do sabr. Okay, that sabr is okay, acceptable. But the real sabr is when you do in the first instant. You've said whatever you had to, you've done whatever you had to. No, at that moment immediately you start, no, this has happened, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to, it's from Allah. It's from Allah. Allah give us understanding. Allah does not like those. Allah says, Inna Allah la yuhibbu kulla mukhtanin fakhur. Allah does not like every arrogant person, every proud person. Allah doesn't like them. A person, he could be proud. The problem has come to a person to make the person humble. But yet the person, because he's proud, he doesn't want to be humble, he's still haughty. No, I'm fine, I'm okay. No, I'm fine, nothing, no, I'm not. No. The whole reason Allah has put that problem in your life is to become humble. You get rid of that pride. And if that problem has come and you still trying to keep that nose high, you still try to keep up that, that pride in you, then you've lost. And Allah doesn't like that. So that problem comes. Fakhur. If Allah has given you something, you shouldn't be, boastful about it. You shouldn't boast about it. You should, oh wow, this, that. Alhamdulillah, it's from Allah. You should be appreciating. You should be grateful to Allah for it. الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ. Those who are very stingy. They're very stingy. Allah has given them a lot, yet they don't want to help others. Yet when problem comes to them, then they want the whole world to help them. But when others are going through problems, they don't want to help anybody else. No. If I will help somebody in problems today, then inshallah, when I am going through problems, then Allah will make. Sometimes we go through like a transaction, that I help this guy, then when I'm going through problems, this guy should definitely help me. No. I am helping this person, whether he helps me or not, Allah will help me. Allah will make other means. If I keep my, thoughts on this person, if I start counting on this person that no, this person should help me and he doesn't help me, then I will be disappointed. But if I keep my hopes on Allah that only Allah will help me, then inshallah I will never be disappointed. وَيَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبُخْلِ. They don't only are stingy, but they tell other people to be stingy as well. So they promote stinginess. Don't help this cause, don't help this person, he deserves it. Astaghfirullah. Now who deserves it? We hear these type of remarks. No, we are not here to judge anybody. A person is going through problems, Allah loves him. That is why Allah has put him in that difficulty. Allah has put him through that test. Who am I to judge that he deserves it? Who am I to judge that he must have done something, some big sin, that's why he's in this problem today? No. I need to look at myself. Alhamdulillah alladhi afani mimma ibtalaka bihi wa faddalani ala kathirin mimman khalaqa tafdila. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a person, he sees anybody in any illness, any difficulty, and he reads this dua, then Allah will save him from that illness. So you see somebody, he's had an accident, or you see somebody who's got some health issues, or somebody who's got any type of issues, then quietly you should read this dua. You shouldn't read this dua loudly, making the person feel guilty and bad about his situation. Quietly make dua that Allah help you, and you quietly make this dua. Alhamdulillah alladhi afani. All praise is to Allah who has saved me from the problem He has put this person in. He has saved me from it. وَفَضَّلَنِي عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقَ تَفْضِيلًا. And He has given me virtue over many of His other creation. So these are the du'as that we should read. Allah give us understanding. Wallahu وَيَبْخَلُونَ الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ وَيَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبُخْلِ. Those who are stingy and they command other people to be stingy as well. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّ. These are the advisors of Allah. These are the things that Allah is advising of us, guiding us. These are the guidance Allah has given. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْغَنِيُّ الْحَمِيدُ. The one who will not take these guidance on board, then that person will lose out. Allah will not lose anything. Allah is rich. It will not affect Allah in any way. It will affect us in every way. Let us take these guidance of Allah mentioned in the Holy Qur'an and make it part of our life. May Allah keep us with afiyah in this world and keep us with afiyah in the akhirah. That is what we need to ask Allah. Afiyah. We should never ask Allah for any problems or anything. We should always ask Allah for afiyah. But when problems do come, then we should, thank Allah. We should turn to Allah. We should make dua to Allah. We should not complain to Allah in any way. Allah first of all give me the ability, give all of us the ability. Ameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala rasulina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.